Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the NGO Whisperer show. My name is Carolyne Opinde. I am the founder of the NGO Whisperer. We are a consulting business that provides technical support to nonprofits so they can successfully impact people's lives. Joining us today from Pretoria, South Africa is Eva Arissani. She is an entrepreneur, co-founder of She Phoenix Femme Phoenix, a nonprofit that provides support to teenage mothers, adolescent girls, and young women. Eva is also an author of New Life, a book that she wrote based on the principles that helped her to transition from being a teenage mother at the age of 14 years old to where she is today as a philanthropist, established entrepreneur, and a champion for teenage mothers, not only in South Africa, but around the world. Eva, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really happy to be on your platform today. It's such an honor and a blessing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Eva. It is such an honor and a pleasure to have you today. What inspired you, on top of what you are doing as an established entrepreneur, to champion for teenage mothers, adolescent girls, and young women?
Well, thank you so much for that question. It is loaded. It is a great question, actually. For everyone to understand why I started that, they need to know my story, where I'm coming from. Because the direct answer I could give to your question is, it's been inspired by my past. I think that's the easiest answer I could give. And why am I saying that? Because I walked in the shoes of teenage mothers since I was a teenage mother myself. I went through a lot. I was a teen mom. I got my first child when I was 14. So we don't have a lot of time because it will take years for me to explain my whole story. But just to cut a long story short, because I went through what most of them are going through, and because God gave me the blessing to succeed and to make it in life, and because I know exactly what it feels like, the rejection, the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, being rejected by everyone, because I know all these things, and because I want to show to God that I am very grateful for everything He's done, I decided that it was my purpose to be there for teenage mothers, to help them get back on their feet, to restore lives one girl at a time. Because I want people to know that being a teenage mother doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. Since I managed to make it through the rain, you see, and I am a living example that it is possible to have a life after teenage pregnancy and to succeed and to become a leader, you see. So it's only a few years ago when I made peace with my life, when I realized, that everything happens for a reason, and that my story can be one of hope, can be an example to others, and can help other girls step into their greatness and get from where they are now to where they want to be. And that's how we gave birth to She Phoenix Femme Phoenix. So it really came from my own personal story and experience. And everything I do is based on something that I learned, in my experiences. I saw every step in my life as a rite of passage, something that was meant to teach me something. And then I decided that, okay, let's use what made me succeed as something that other girls can use just to follow the same process, you know,
Wow,
and get from nowhere to somewhere.
that's wonderful. What a great testimony, using what you have gone through to help other teenage mothers succeed in life, be somebody. And also looking at the statistic from World Health Organization, and it says that approximately every year, approximately 12 million girls aged 15 to 19, and these are teenagers, and at least 777,000 girls under the age of 15 give birth every year in developing countries. And then there's also 10 million girls who have unintended pregnancies between the age of 15 to 19. So teenage motherhood
Yes.
is very common in our community, which
Yes.
takes us to the next question. At She Phoenix Femme Phoenix, you as the co-founder alongside with your team, what services do you offer to girls and where do you work?
That's another great question. Thank you. You know, listening to you, because I'm aware of everything you said, you know, all those statistics and stuff. But listening to you again, it makes me realize that there is actually work to do, because I see what is happening now as, you know, it's like something that is stopping our young generation to progress in life. And it is such a pity, because they are all so clever, you know, and it makes me even more willing to do the work, because they need us. Imagine all those sisters going through that, you know, and most of them are alone, most of them are rejected, and they are not even, you know, getting any kind of support. Some end up in the street, some end up in prostitution, some end up killing themselves. Imagine all of that. So listening to you, I feel even more convinced that we are doing the right thing, you know, because it's a large portion of of the continent, of the world, actually. So to come back to the second question that you asked, we offer we follow a comprehensive approach, if you want. So we thought, what can we do? We thought in terms of prevention. We thought in terms of how to help the young girls restore their lives. And we thought in terms of awareness campaigns, you know. So then, under these three branches, we developed specific programs. So for example, in terms of prevention, we target obviously girls who are not pregnant yet, you see. So we try to help them become the best version of themselves through personal coaching, through personal development, through spirituality, and really helping them step into their greatness. Why is that so? Because based on my own experience and on, you know, what I've read, because I keep on reading about, you know, what is happening in the world and what girls are going through, fitting in is a problem. A lot of young girls want to fit in. Also, there is a loss of identity, and that can come from many reasons, but most specifically because many come from a broken family, and they don't know their culture. You know, there are many reasons for that. And then the other thing is low self-esteem. So when you take those elements, and if you help the girls, you know, deal with those aspects, you are giving them more power. You know, you are helping them to build a better version of themselves, so that when they end up in a certain situation, they can make their own informed choices. You see what I mean? And also so that they understand what it means to be pregnant, because there are different reasons why a girl gets pregnant. It could be as a result of a rape, in which case it is a different circumstance. It could be simply because the girl is naive, she's in love, and she doesn't understand the implications of going into, you know, having an active sexual life, you know, so they need to understand. And the other thing could also simply be that she lacks so much self-confidence that she's willing to do whatever it takes to fit in and to be accepted, and then they have to deal with the consequences. So that's for in terms of prevention. We want them to feel good in their own body, in their own mind, and to know that they have to think of what can be the consequences of such an action, you know. The other thing is, I was talking about now helping teenage mothers get back on their feet. We do that also through different aspects. So we believe that education is key, and this is also based on my own story. It is through education that I managed to become who I am, because going to school gives you a lot of options. It opens up doors. It gives you possibilities that not going to school does not give you. So for me, education is a must. So one of the programs that we have is we have sponsors who become mentors for at least one girl per sponsor, and those sponsors pay for their studies so that the girls can go back to school, you see. That's the one thing. The other thing is, because we are aware that actually all the girls we work with are going through financial troubles. They really struggle. Some don't even have food for the day, you know. And some girls have like 2, 3 kids. Imagine having 3 kids where you are 20 and some of the kids are already 3 or 4. Can you imagine? It is very difficult. The parents usually are very poor as well. So we came up with a program. It's still a new program. We actually started that program this week. It's called the Entrepreneurship Challenge. And that is a 4-day training where myself and a business coach based in the UK, her name is Ariette Kataba, we are coaching the girls and giving them, you know, tools to become entrepreneurs. And at the end of the challenge, they have to pitch, you know, like they have to send a 1-minute pitch and a business plan, you know, explaining why, what is their business and why they should be chosen, you know. And at the end of it, based on the donations that we receive, because She Phoenix Femme Phoenix relies entirely on donations, we award the winner with a small capital to start a business. And this is part of our way to break poverty, you see, and to realize to implement some of the SDGs, you know, that are against poverty. Because She Phoenix Femme Phoenix does not believe in handouts. We believe in teaching how to fish. So it is difficult, but we believe that in the long run, they will benefit more, you know, of that. The other program is the awareness program. So that's the last part. The awareness program helps people understand what is going on, you know, like why teenage pregnancy is such an important issue, why it is important for families not to give up on their girls or on their daughters when they fall pregnant, why it is important to give them a chance, to give them love, why it is important for people to know that, you know, these are the causes or these are the consequences of teenage pregnancy, and why it is important to talk to young boys or young men who end up denying pregnancies to stop running away from, you know, their responsibilities. And I'm very happy because this year, well, about a month ago, my husband did a video to promote She Phoenix and to raise awareness about what is happening, how he really nicely used storytelling to for people to picture what can happen to a young girl when she falls pregnant, and how at the end of the day she might end up killing herself, and the young man will just go on with his life like if nothing had happened, while they leave a family grieving for their daughter. So this is a very important aspect as well, you see, and everything combined works towards, you know, all the services that we are offering. This year only, during COVID-19, we had a 30-day challenge on self-esteem that gathered girls from different countries. I think it was Congo, Kenya, South Africa, and there was another one, Nigeria. And it was a complete success. We had about 60 to 70 girls who registered. And at the end of the challenge, we really felt that they learned a lot, and, you know, it made a big impact. And after that, we had another 30-day challenge, this time for French-speaking countries, because we realized that we need to expand. And the problem, like you mentioned, the teenage pregnancy is not just in a few countries, it's all over the world. So we thought it's also important to start, you know, having activities for French-speaking countries. And we had about 30 to 40 girls registered, young women, and it was a complete success. It was so successful that almost all of them asked us to organize more activities for them. And they realized that they learned a lot and that they really needed, you know, something like that. So there is a need, and it is so fulfilling, because at the end of every challenge, you can feel that you've made a positive impact in those girls' lives.
Talking about prevention programs that you have for adolescent girls and young women who are not yet pregnant, or who already had a child and now we are preventing a second pregnancy.
Yes.
So that is focusing on adolescent girls and young women. What ages do you work with? What age groups do you work with?
Well, at the moment, it's been from 16 up to 23.
Okay. So,
and I even go further. Sometimes I accept 25, because I've realized that, you know, in Africa, you can be like, you can feel like you are 25, but you still feel like you need, you know, that kind of support. And a lot of women came to me and said, but why do you limit it to only 23? And they begged me, and then I thought, okay, you know, why not? But it's basically from 16 to 23.
So from ages 16 to 23, and obviously universally we look at teenagers as from age 13 to 19. And I know there are so many 13-year-olds also who have been pregnant or are mothers. Now, looking at your restoration program, working with teenage mothers, there's a really great component of it, which you have spoken about, which is education. And the second one was on entrepreneurship and helping them, not giving them handouts, but hand up to be able to set up their own businesses. I would like us to go deeper into how you're working with institutions or educational institutions, whether it's the Department of Basic Education in South Africa, of Ministry of Education in Kenya or other countries. How are you working with schools or government agencies to ensure that these girls are accepted in schools?
Okay, that's a great question. That's something I am still working on. And COVID-19 didn't help at all, because now we've been stuck for many months, you know. But basically, to answer your question, this is our next step. So for now, what we're doing with the sponsors, because we have sponsors from the United States of America paying for, you know, the school fees for those girls, we are just registering them into some schools. So now, because of COVID-19, again, it's very slow. We are still waiting for, you know, like, you know, tuition fees and everything. But what is going to happen, because we've got 4 of them who are going back to school next year, the sponsors will pay for the tuition fees, you see. And then there's no department involved at this stage because we haven't had the opportunity to reach out yet. But this is something we want to do in the future because we also believe that it is a problem, because I see that the feedback from some of the girls is that some schools might say, no, you are too old, you know, to go back to school and to go do their matric, because most of them, they have to do their matric. Although I have a case of one who has to go to do again a grade 10, you know, but yes, we haven't gone that route yet. It's still something we are going to do. I suspect that it will be probably done next year, since everything is still quite slow because of COVID-19. So at this stage, I keep on looking for sponsors, you know, who would take full responsibility for their tuition fees and who would really be there for them. You know, at this stage, that's all we can do in terms of education. But we welcome, if anyone is watching this show and would like to help us, you know, go that route, then we welcome any initiative, because it will help the girls.
Wonderful, wonderful. To all the school principals, teachers who are interested in partnering with She Phoenix Femme Phoenix to help girls who have dropped out of school due to teenage pregnancies, and to have them come back after they have given birth and are ready to get back to school and have the education and the support system to help them overcome the stigma, the discrimination that comes with being a teenage mother, the self-inflicted stigma, as well as the societal stigma in the community. Now, to take us to the next question, most recently you conducted an awareness campaign in one of Africa's largest township, Soweto. Can you share with us how your awareness campaign outreach program in Soweto went?
It was a beautiful experience. Obviously, it was not as big as I wanted it to be, because we were still coming out of, you know, the lockdown, and there are still some restrictions, you know, in the number of people gathering. So I had lots of girls living in Soweto, all of them teenage mothers. The youngest was, I think the youngest was 16, and they came with their children. So we had about 20 girls, I think some even more, because they came with their children. So we had a lot of children as well. And it was really nice to see them, first of all, you know, because online activities are good, but there are a lot of barriers, you know. First of all, data is a problem. Secondly, you know, because there's no contact, it makes it a bit difficult for them to relate or to connect. And also because sometimes because they are not used to doing so many activities online yet, you see. So it was nice to be there. I was blessed to receive clothes donated from my church, Christ the King. It was really, really kind of them. They kept the clothes during the whole period of COVID-19 for us. So I managed to only collect the clothes, you know, like you said, at that time when the government said, okay, now you can do some gatherings, but with restricting numbers. And I had some volunteers who drove with me to Soweto, and got sponsors from Belgium, from the UK, from the United States, who sent money for the girls. And that money helped us, you know, is helping us do all the activities. And the other thing is also that for me, it was the opportunity to inspire the girls and let them know that teenage pregnancy is not a dead end. So that's the first message. The second message is for them to understand that we are made in God's image. And that means a lot, because when you understand that, it means that you have all the right stuff in you. You just need to work on yourself, you know, and improve yourself, and have an unwavering faith that you will make it, you see, because that's what happened with me. And I think that it is always stronger. It has a power, more power when you hear it from someone, when you are together than when you are online. So I took the opportunity to inspire them again, to motivate them, to explain, and to show them what we had done. So I was very blessed because some of the girls who are going back to school next year were there, and they gave a testimonial. They explained what they gained since they've been working with She Phoenix Femme Phoenix, and how they changed and how they have hope for the future. And I could see how it sparkled life in them. It's always better when you hear it from someone, a peer, who is also going through the same thing you are going through, and then to see their life changing, then you realize that there's something going on. And the other thing is, because there were so many kids, I had the opportunity to raise awareness about, preventing abuse, child abuse. So I played along with the kids to explain that their body is their body. So I used the My Body is My Body child prevention abuse, that works to prevent child abuse, so that the kids would understand that their body is theirs, and that no one except mommy should touch them. And that if someone touches them, and I was I was playing with them. Like I would say, for example, look at this, what is this? Oh, this is my bum, for example. Can I touch it? And they will say, yes. Then I said, no, because you know me, so you think I can, but no, I should not, because you don't really know me. So except for mommy, no one should touch it, you see? And it was so beautiful to see how children are so naive, if they don't realize that they have to be careful. And it was an eye-opening for the children and for the mothers. And I also took the opportunity to explain what it means to be a mother, and how it is important not to beat up your child, to have a good communication ground with them, and how patience is key, and how it is important to share the right values at a young age, that everything they are learning with She Phoenix, they can actually use it for their children. So you see, it was a mix of many things, and that's what I did for the community outreach. And then we shared a meal, and the most beautiful thing is, our caterer for the day was a teen mom.
Wonderful.
So what we do also is, when we have a community outreach now, is that we ask the girls who are baking or cooking to do something for us. We pay them, and then they, not only they get something out of it, but they also share their skills, So it's our way of empowering them instead of giving them handouts.
What are the 2 or 3 top challenges that you face as you work with teenage mothers?
I would say that the most difficult thing that we are facing is keeping the girls motivated and making them understand that we need to put in more effort, and to keep in mind, what they are looking for. What is their goal? And it is difficult because they are going through a rough time. Like, they need money now, they need food now. You see, they have immediate needs. That for them, it sounds like if this is the most important thing. And sometimes they don't understand that it takes a lot of tears, blood, and sweat, to realize one's dreams. And some even gave up. Some girls just left. Why? Because they wanted handouts. And I said no. Maybe 2 or 3 girls left, and I let them go, because the thing is, there are many organizations out there. Some organizations are there to give handouts, but She Phoenix Femme Phoenix is not one of them. And I want that message to be clear. And I'm telling each one of the girls that, I understand what you are going through. I know that it is difficult. I know what it is not to have food. for the day. I know because I went through the same thing. But the thing is, when you have a dream and you are hungry for more, when you want to succeed, you have to know what is very important and you have to make it happen. So this is really, I think it's the hardest challenge that we have, like keep them motivated, keep them inspired, and, make them understand that those challenges are not for us, it's for them. Because some would say, no, but what is this giving me? Like all those challenges. And then I have to explain that you might not see it now, but believe me, personal development is something that has the power to change your life forever. Spirituality and religion has the power to change your life. You need coaching in your life, because even if you go back to school, if you don't have the right mindset and you don't have the right attitude, you will fail. And that will be a pity, because it will be a waste of time, a waste of money for the sponsor, a waste of everything for everyone, So I think that's the hardest challenge. Then the other thing I would say will be donations, because you see, the thing is, our cause is not as sweet as some of the other causes. You see, like, it's something to have an organization that is catering for orphans, for example, for children. They look so innocent, and they are innocent. So it is easier for everyone to feel like, I want to donate for orphans, I want to donate for, like women who are battered, for example, like gender violence and everything. But teenage pregnancy is different, because everyone tend to think that, okay, they are naughty girls, you see, so they did the wrong thing. Why should we help them? Who has not done something wrong in their lives? Who hasn't? So if the answer is actually no one, everyone makes mistakes, why should they pay such a hard price? Why should they be condemned for life? Can't we give them a chance?
A second chance, yeah.
Yes, you see, and that's why I believe that it is my purpose to do what I'm doing, because when people look at me, they're like, no, but you're such a nice lady. I said, if you had met me when I was 14 and pregnant, I don't think you would have thought that way of me, you see. But look at what I'm doing today. So what I'm saying is, a life saved can save 100 other lives.
Absolutely.
A teen mom who is given a second chance will become a female leader, with the right support and the right assistance.
If the NGO Whisperer were to award you a grant of £1 million, what project would you implement and who will benefit?
Okay, that's awesome. You make me dream right now. I would say that it will go into SDG 4, so for education, because education is key. Without education, it is very difficult to make it in life. And the money will go into creating a shelter, but not just a shelter. It will be like a center where we would cater for girls, but most specifically teenage mothers, who would come there to receive coaching. And the other thing is, some girls end up in the street. So they need, and I've got 2 in mind now, because they are orphans. Their parents died. If we had a center like that, I think we would have a part of that center where they could probably have, a shelter, so that at least they can bounce back and from there go to school. Yeah, so that center will be for them, and it will be situated in Pretoria. And I say why? Not just because I live in Pretoria, but because I know that there are lots of organizations that are based in Johannesburg, you see already. And I know that there are girls there are a lot of teen moms, for example, in Mamelodi. Mamelodi is in Pretoria. So what about Pretoria? There's no shelter for teen moms that I know in Pretoria. So I think that that could be very, very good to start one here in Pretoria. And then if needed, take the girls from Johannesburg who works with She Phoenix and take them here in Pretoria. You know, a change of scenery also helps them setting and make them go back to school here in Pretoria as well.
Wonderful. What a wonderful dream project. Give us one last word of encouragement to every organization or every individual who is working with teenage mothers, adolescent girls, and young women.
I would say just keep up with the good work. Don't give up. Every morning is an opportunity to bless another girl. Every morning is an opportunity to help another girl restore her life. What we are doing is very important because we are raising the next generation of female leaders. So the work we are doing is very important. And I will just also ask them, please don't just give them handouts. Handouts are, understand, we are all giving different services, but if you can, on top of the handouts, please give them something else that will help them in the longer run. You know, like give them maybe a bit of religious background, something that will feed their soul and their mind as well. And I would just take this opportunity to thank all the people on board, you know, She Phoenix Femme Phoenix family. I might forget some names, forgive me, but I have to name some of them. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the co-founders of She Phoenix who helped me make this reality. So it's Martine and Tembi. Secondly, it's all my beautiful sisters from all walks of lives, and Caroline, you are one of them. I've known you for many years already now. You are doing a wonderful job. Thank you for what you're doing now. And then there is Mireille Tulekima, there is Claudia Anna, there is Charlotte Moreau, there is Ona Miller, there is Cordelia Gaffar, Lillian Moller, Kosi, Stella Bika, Harriet Kataba, of course, who is doing the challenge with me now. There is Zingle Nyaka, there is Kosi, my husband as well, who started recently also coaching Romeo Nkuluela. There are so many people, and I might not have named everyone, but just know that you are loved, and I thank you, you know, on behalf of She Phoenix Femme Phoenix for what you are doing. I encourage you to continue with the good work. I also would like to congratulate all the girls who are now working with She Phoenix, who are benefiting. They are the main beneficiaries of everything we do. Please keep up with the good work. You are doing a wonderful job, and I pray for you every single day. And thank you for everyone who wants to help and to make a difference in girls' lives.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been honored today to have Eva Arissani, co-founder of She Phoenix Femme Phoenix, a nonprofit that is providing support to teenage mothers and works with adolescent girls and young women, not only in South Africa where they are based, but around the world. And for those who are interested in contributing to this support, we invite you to go to their website and their social media to provide the much needed support for them to continue to conduct their activities as well as conduct awareness campaign.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a beautiful experience, and I pray that God blesses you, because the work you are doing for NGOs, for NPOs, is just remarkable. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on our social media. It's all about connecting people, raising funds, and impacting lives globally.